Hello, the purpose of this video is to explain how to set up your construction sheets or architectural sheets, not to generate construction drawings at this point, but to send them off to your engineers. So when we created our floor plan, we created them on a file called base, and then we have FRST. This is our third revision now. So on our model, we have our floor plan with different iterations of the um, site over here as XREF, and then our previous floor plan is just up here, okay? But we're currently working on this portion over here. So we could do is we could create our layout on this base floor plan, and you can certainly do that. And offices would have their own sort of tradition how to do it in AutoCAD. Um, so what we should probably be doing is creating a totally new sheet where we are going to extract this file into that sheet and then create our base plans on that one. So we're going to do a start a new drawing, okay? And we're just going to do an ACA DWT, accept the drawing template, or you just go back to your start and then simply create new, and that's based on the AutoCAD drawing template or um, the base template. And you can always do that, but it's an advanced feature that's not part of our scope here. So here is the model and there's nothing on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an XREF. So the XREF box is already up here, but you can get that box. Let's close that first. And if you want to get that box out, you just type in XREF, enter, and this box will come out. Okay. So this is called drawing 2 right now, and that's the first file that you see here. It's always the first file. We're going to do a file save as. So we're going to do this. We're going to save as, and we're going to call it um, preliminary sheets. You can put a dash there. Maybe we can just do that. Preliminary sheets. I'm going to click save. And now the file is called preliminary sheets. What we're going to do on the base is we're going to insert via XREF our based first Rev 3. So we're going to do a attach a drawing file via XREF. Okay. And then we're going to go to wherever we saved that. And then it's going to be a base first Rev 3 here. And we're going to simply click open. And we'll click OK to put that anywhere on the screen. Okay, so everything is in there, and this is what we're looking at. All right. Now, the site plan didn't show here because the site plan is XREF not attached but overlay. So if we look at our base first, Rev 3 here, and look at the site plan over here. Let's just reload this first. Okay. Yes. You're going to see when you click on this sheet, it would say overlay. So what's the difference between an attach and an overlay? An overlay means that the extra file will not show on the second level of XREF. So this is now a second level XREF. So we XREF the base plan that has an XREF of the site plan. And because now we're putting it as a second level XREF, it won't show anymore. Okay? And it's okay. Also, one thing to note is that it will always follow the original north direction as your x, y. So we're simply going to do another rotate and select the file and then click the corner or any corner you want really, and we'll do a reference. So simply type R or select R here and then click that point again and then click the other point that you wanted to be horizontal, which is the corner of our property. And simply rotate, and I'm going to turn on my ortho. Okay, so now the south side is facing the front of the building. I'm also going to uh, move everything that I want to see here on this side of the prop of the space on the right side of my y-axis. So I'm just going to simply do a move. I'm going to move everything here. It doesn't need to be here, but I just want to be clear of the XY. Sometimes this goes in conflicts with my view. Okay. Now there's a lot of things here, so we're going to do an X clip. X clip will allow us to do a rectangular space, and we're going to do a new boundary, and we're going to do rectangular, and we're simply going to click and make a rectangle out of this one. It'll try to hide everything. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing for the second floor. We're going to do another xref attach, and we are going to find our second floor. I don't think we have our revision 3 for the second floor. Okay, so second, rev 3, I only have a rev 2 here right now. So I'm going to click open, I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to click anywhere again. Okay, and I will simply go and rotate again. This one was rotated already on the second floor, so it's showing another rotation. So I'm going to do another rotation again. RO, select your extra file, and we're going to click a corner here, corner of the building, looks like here, and we're going to do reference, and then we're going to click again that same corner, and then click the south side of the building here, so that we can do a proper rotation which aligns the first floor and the second floor. Okay, so we're going to move this now. I try to move it this corner and match it with this corner first of the building, right? So I can move it there. Now it's on top of each other. Then I move and I type P to move the previous one, which is on top of each other. And then I'm going to simply move it onto the right side, okay, or the left side, or on top of it, doesn't matter really. And I'm going to do the same X clip. So I'm going to do X clip, and I will create a new boundary, which is a rectangular, and I'm going to again make a box so it clips everything. Okay, and if I don't want to see this boxes, I simply have to create a layer, and I will create. You must be in the level all. Don't go to another level. So make sure that you're level all. Then you're gonna create a new layer. We're gonna call it X clip. Okay, and we're going to select one of those gray colors. Okay, over here, 253. Okay, close it, and I'm gonna select this and select that, um, and put that on that layer. X clip. Okay, now if I turn off that layer of X clip, you won't see the box. Okay, this one is actually an external reference, right? And the box is on X clip, and the file too is also in X clip. So you could call that an extra for an X clip, it doesn't matter. But you can turn off that layer and it won't show. So now we have the first floor and the second floor. Okay. Another fact is that a lot of companies, well, not a lot, some companies would actually XREF their sections and elevations also on this same sheet, preliminary sheets. But we already have done that on our base 11 Pro, and we reset this up. So we're going to leave it like this and create a separate one so we can actually learn how to combine the sheets later. Anyway, we now have our first and second floor. Uh, at, at some point, you may want to also xref your site. Why don't we just do that right now? We'll just go into xref and attach again the site. So we're gonna go to our base site here. I'm gonna click OK, and we're going to put it somewhere, and we're going to again. This is the current, so we're going to do a rotation here. I'm gonna click this corner and then do a reference R, and then click that same corner and pick this corner here. Make sure, and then do a rotation so it's now parallel. to the front of the building, and then we're going to do an X clip, and then we're going to do a new boundary, and then we're going to do a rectangular building, X clip, and then we're going to clip it like so. And then we're going to click this and put it on layer X clip or extra, doesn't matter. Okay, there you go. So we have our site there and our floor plan here, and let's just try to align everything together. Okay, so I'm going to try to align and move this side. This is the front of the building over here, and we are going to go and put that here too. There you go. Now it's one is on top of the other. I'm going to just move the previous, and I'm going to bring that up now. So I have my site plan in this sheet. I have my first floor in this sheet, and I have my second floor also in this sheet. And my next step is to lay out the sheets. Okay, let us now set up our sheets. We already have our site plan, first floor and second floor. We did not extract our sections and elevations. We already have set that up. Um, Sometimes firms would also include sections and elevations here on the preliminary sheets. Okay. Um, so let's do now a layout, and we can use the existing layout. So just click this one, and all we're going to do now is we're going to set this up, and we're going to delete this. Okay, and let us first change the paper to 36 by 24. So we're going to do a right click on the layout, and we're going to do a page setup manager, and we're going to modify, and we are going to select our AutoCAD PDF. Okay, before we did a DWG to PDF setup, but now AutoCAD has this AutoCAD PDF high quality print, so we're just going to select that, and then we are going to select architectural letter D, so ARCHD, and there's two of them. The one that starts with 36 first is the one that we're going to use, and we want that to be well, it's a landscape, and we want this to be ACAD CTB. Okay. Now ACAD CTB is the line type, or pen assignment that we're using. Typically, uh, each firm will have their own ACAD CTB, and we're probably going to do that for this week also. I'll show you later, but right now just accept ACAD CTB. And then we're going to do we're 1:1, and we're just going to do an extents here, and then click OK, and then click Close. Okay, nothing happened. What we're going to do next, we're going to insert our title block. Once we're done setting up the paper, we're going to now insert here our title block. And since we already have set that up on our elevations over here, elevation sections, we can just copy this whole thing. We can select the whole thing, and then right click, and then clipboard. We're going to do a copy, and then go back to our preliminary sheets drawing. And on this sheet, we can do a right click, and then clipboard, and then paste. We don't want to paste as a block because we're going to paste, we're going to edit and modify information on the block. So click paste, and we can just click anywhere here. And what we're going to do is we're going to specify this red line as the extents of our drawing. So we're going to do and go back to a layout, and then do page setup manager again. We're going to modify, and then we are going to select a window, and then select this two corners diagonally as the window. Make sure there's a check on the center plot, and then click OK, and then close, and you're going to see this now here. Now this is from the elevation section, so we will see all of this uh, titles inside. We're just gonna move that outside, okay, of the paper. So we're going to just simply move, and we're going to select all of this, Now I do have a drawing scale or graphic scale over in the corner, and I want to leave that there. So I'm simply going to move everything to the right because I'm going to need the information later. Okay, and then let's first do setup of the site plan. Okay, so we're going to do a viewport and open up a window to the model space. Okay, set up a viewport of the model space. Okay, we're just simply going to type in viewport, oh, type viewport, and then I wanted to simply do a single viewport. Click OK, and want to define that with a box. So I want to define that with a box. I'm going to make a box any size. Double click to enter the viewport, and then pan and zoom to your site plan, and then change the scale here to whatever scale we want. In this case, we want 1/8 to a foot, and then lock that in. I don't want to see all these grid lines, so I'm just going to type in grid, and then up, and then we're going to turn that off, so it's not there anymore. Double click outside, and then you can adjust the viewport to hide stuff that you don't want to see. Okay, so I don't want to see this red line here that's supposed to be the end of the alley, and I'm gonna just make that skinnier. Oh, make that skinnier here. And I can turn off these palm trees later if I don't want to. In this case, it looks like I can squeeze probably the site plan and the first floor and the second floor. So we're going to simply move this viewport to the right over here and create two more if we can manage to squeeze in without making it look like it's all cramped up. Okay. Before that, let's create a layer called viewport. Make sure you're in all, and then click this one and type in viewport. Enter. Do we have viewport layer? No, I don't think we do. We have X clip and everything like that, but we don't have viewport. Okay. And then we're going to change that to color to something that's gray. 252, 253. Click OK and close it. And then select this and change it here or change it here, doesn't matter, to layer viewport. There you go. And then we're going to copy this viewport, one for the first floor and the other one for the third floor. Okay, I mean second floor. So I will double click here again. I can't pan inside because it's locked, so I'm going to unlock it first. And then I know that my first floor is, I can zoom out also, so my first floor is below it. So I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to change the scale to 1/8. Okay, pan it, make sure it's 1/8, and then lock it in. And do the same thing over here. Double click on the third one, unlock it, zoom out, and then go to. I know that the second floor is on the right of my plan, so I'm just simply zoom in, and then change the scale to 1/8, and then pan. I'm going to line this up later. Right now it's 1/8. I'm going to lock it in. Okay, zoom outside, and then I'm ready to now make sure that they're all level. So I'm going to simply do a move the viewport, select the line that is the property line on the um, site plan, uh, or you can select a building that's lined up with this one. So you can do that. Let's do the building. Click that, point here, but don't click. Okay, or you can click and then it will just move there, and then simply just move horizontally. So they're now all lined up. Okay, and we can adjust the spacing later. Okay, do the same thing here. We're gonna move and then select this and line that up with this corner over here. and then simply move that horizontally. And again, we can adjust the spacing later. We can actually move this further to the right, and the viewports will be hidden later, so there's really nothing. We don't really need to line up or resize them. I'm just going ahead and making sure that they're sized the same, but we don't really need to. Okay, so point and then just simply just do a perpendicular. There you go. Okay, so now I have the complete viewports of each one. Why don't we go right ahead and also um, check the page setup manager, modify, and then check display plot styles. Click OK, so it'll all turn black. Okay, and at the same time, I wanted to make sure that the line types are showing. So I'm going to do a LW display and make sure that it is turned on. Okay. Um, yeah. Now you may have noticed that when we xref anything, even on the model space, let's go quick model space here, it is a little darkened or grayed out. That's to signify that this file or this lines is not actually in this drawing. It's an xref file. Okay. So, and that would appear also here as grayed out, but it's really not gray. Uh, because if you do a preview, you will see that it's actually darker and black. Okay, so that tells you that it's really gray. What you want it to be gray are probably these palm trees. Okay, so what you can do is you can cancel your preview and then double click here, and this is part of a layer, so you can actually double click and let's show that again. So when you select a XREF file, it's selected the whole file, and while it's selected, you can actually double click on anything, and it will tell you uh, information on that file. Okay, and that file will be considered. Let me increase that, and that file or that object that you selected is part of the site plan, and that's that object over there. Okay, uh, but it's actually part of this one. And if you wanted to change that, you have to change the layer of uh, this external reference, which is when you double click, it's called external reference is called cafe base site, and the layer is 3. Okay, so cancel that. So get your layers, and you know it's on the cafe base site. So each layer here is named according to their the name of the layer is named according to the file name. So cafe base site, and it is called C3. So over here, and that's colored yellow, and I want that to be gray, and I want that to be like 253 or 252 over here, or 254. Maybe that's too light, so just 253. Click OK, and what's gonna happen is this one is now gray in color. So if you go out, close the layer, and type in preview, now it's grayed out. Okay, and if you want that to be further gray, now just pull that layer again, and we'll go to cafe base site, and then click 3 and adjust that to 254 if you want to. Click OK, close the layer, and then when you do a preview, you should see that it's actually lighter. Okay, and if that's how you want it, that's how you want it, and that's fine. Okay. Obviously, our site plan has changed quite a bit uh, based on changes to the building. So you do have to reflect that. Okay. So you have to go back to your base site. Where's my base site? I don't have it open. So I'll open it. start, open, and base site over here. And my building has actually have grew into this back area over here, right? So we have to reflect that on your base first rev here. Okay, by how much did this actually grew? Well, it's from here to here, and if I do a distance, dist enter, and it grew by 19.7. Okay, 19.7, and it is up to the line of my parking space. So on my cafe base site, I want this one to do 19.7, so I'm going to do an OF 19 feet and 7 inches and offset this upwards and up to this line here. So we're going to simply move this to the right, and let's see, did my building touch? No, it didn't, so it's still not touching there. And just do a line here from the intersection down here, and we can do a fillet or a trim and trim here. Okay, and then I want this white line to go all the way up here, and then I'm going to do another trim to trim this. Okay, before I put the hatchback on, what is the area of my building? Type in area, select, 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 endpoints over here too, and then press enter, and the area is 1859.167. So double click, and 1859.67. Okay, and you just double check if that is 70% of the total area of our lot. Uh, yeah, and then put the hatchback. So BH, and then select, press enter, and then match property, and erase this, and then save it. Go back to your preliminary sheets. It should pop up over here. Okay, or you can simply right click here and then click reload. It'll show you the changes and then accept them. There you go. Okay. Again, they just look great, but they're really not. Okay. Uh, Also, the LT scale, you might want to change the LT scale. So on your model, what is LT scale? Oh, it's one. And then on the layout, you simply have to just change again the LT scale with the three LT scale numbers. And the three LT scale numbers in the model space, we already check our LT scale here, right? LT scale, and it's one. On paper space, our LT scale is also one, and then we put in our uh, TSLT scale, and it's supposed to be also on, which is one, enter, and then back to model space, we must put in MS LT scale, and it must be one, and then the last thing that we need to do is make sure that the annotation scale here is set to 1/8 of an inch, okay, so that it matches. Let me save first. It matches our layout. And if that line is still too widely spaced for you, then go back to model space, or you can just double click here and type in LT scale, and you can put in 0.5, and that will adjust according and everything else. So double click outside too. There you go. So make sure that everything is locked, okay, so that if you pan or move, it will not move about. So if you're happy with the line type scaling, then yeah, adjust your MS LT scale to one, set the annotation scale, and adjust your LT scale. I like it 0.5, so I adjusted the LT scale to 0.5. Okay, And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to like uh, these bubble sheets. I don't want them there, so I'm going to double click, and I can't delete them here. I can turn off the bubble sheets if they're on a separate layer. So I'm going to check if they are, and that bubble sheet is actually not. It's on. It's just in a Rev 2, so it's not. I can adjust it here. So what I can do is I can go back to the second floor sheet, and if I check, it's just on the same layer here. So I know that on the first floor we put the bubble sheets on a layer called viewport, so it doesn't print, right? If I put that on, I can see this back here. So save that. So we can do the same thing. We can go to the second floor rev and then erase all of this. Uh, the first floor is maybe over attached, so I'm going to just reload. Yes, accept, and turn on the layer or unfreeze it so I can see that these are the location of those. Okay, we actually have moved this line no more, so we're going to erase this line. Okay, and that's 1, 2, 3, and then A, B, C, D. So looks like everything is correct. You may want to do some last minute adjustments like this one, right? Uh, this one is up to outside and outside. You can leave that, doesn't really matter. Do I have two of these? Yeah, no, I actually have one of them on there. Okay, this is for the column, this is for the wall. I adjusted it. This yellow lines are for the section. Look, everything's looks good. So I'm just gonna save that. Go back to my preliminary sheets. Okay, and then reload again and accept that I deleted them. So I just click OK, and there you go. I don't have them anymore. And I actually don't want them because I wanted to create my own, uh, and I could extend them further if I want to, uh, depending on how I want these bubble sheets to go. Okay, and so I can just do a line and extend them further. Each one, I just copy and make sure that they're on layer grid. I may not have it here because they're on a layer, but I'm just gonna put that on pen 3, or make your own grid. Okay, let's just do our own grid. Layer, make sure you're in all, and then click new, and then we're gonna put in a grid, and then assign that color green, and the line type is center. So we're gonna load line type. The line type is center. Click OK. Click OK. Oh, I didn't assign. And then close, and then select, and put that on layer A grid. There you go. Okay, so there you go. And then double check on the preview if they seem to look seamless. They do. And then now all I have to do is copy that whole set from here to here. And you actually wanted to copy that one also to your site plan, but on a site plan, you don't copy the in-between grids. You only want at the ends. And then the same thing here. I don't I don't have anything here. So why don't we just copy that from my first floor, copy the grid, and they're all touching the building here on the side and touching the corner here. So I'm fine with that one. So I'm just gonna right click, clipboard, copy. Sometimes Control C and Control V doesn't work, so I just wanted to clipboard copy. Go to my elevation, do Control V, move it somewhere else, and then now move it into place. Now I'm gonna put it here. There you go. And then save that. And then go back to my preliminary sheets. Something will pop up, and I would do to reload. There should not be any green reload symbols here. Okay, so everything has been reloaded. Now I have that. So do I want to extend it by a little bit? Probably. So I simply do that and extend that by a little bit, and then simply do a match property, and then make copies. Okay, and then copy the whole thing. And then at this point on the site, I just want to copy the extents of the building. So I'm going to copy this one and that one. I'm going to copy that from this endpoint to that endpoint. Okay. And because I didn't actually touch it, I can just extend these two, or maybe move it. I'm going to move this and have them just touch the building. There you go. I probably want more space here on the right, so I'm going to just move the whole thing. No, not the whole thing, just this two. Move it further to the right, like this, and then move this a little bit to the left. Okay, just composing it as you go. Okay, and then I have the bubbles. Now all I have to do is transfer where my ABCs are. Okay, so this is supposed to be looking at the front elevation, so therefore this one is supposed to be already set up. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy. This one's already set up. I'm going to do a quadrant, and I'm going to put that here. And they're supposed to be all set up, except I moved my grid, so my elevation grids, I have to fix my elevation grids to match up, and I can see that my elevation grids number 2 has to be fixed. And you could now go into the elevation um, and fix that grid that has moved according to your new set of plans, right? So on your new set of plans over here, it hasn't been updated yet. Where's my updated plans? My XREF file here, if I click on it, is based on Rev2. So I'm simply going to um, attach or select a new path for that one and do a Rev3. Click open, and now it's updated. I can now change this and modify the name to Rev3. Okay, and then I can see now that my 2 is my 3 is lined up. So if I can get that point here, right? My 3 is still lined up. It's my 2 that's the problem. My 2 has to be moved here. So I'm going to move my 2 from here to here. Okay, and then simply do the same thing when I erase this. And what else? This is the opposites, and then copy. This is my 3 and copy from here to there. There you go. And then on this, all the left and right elevations are correct. The rear, this one is not here anymore. It's now moved here. So you have to do a stretch. So I'm going to do a stretch and S and stretch this. Stretch from this point, and I wanted to now stretch up to this point. Just hover so that it remembers it, and then I messed up. So I'm just going to do a perpendicular to this point here. There you go. And now it's fixed over there. That's fixed. That's fixed. This one's fixed. Nothing wrong here. And then what is this? Oh, this is an old elevation. So actually, I just want to put an X there so I know that I'm not using that anymore. All right, save my work for the elevation. Go back to my preliminary sheets. Uh, so I just took that time to fix my elevation because this is now all wrong, and you're not going to put that everything here. But whenever you have something like this, okay, where if you put the grid directly on to the grid line, they're overlap, so that's not acceptable. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose which one do you want to offset, and I'm just going to offset the two. So I'm going to move the grid tag or the bubble grid a little bit like that, and then I'm going to do a line, okay, from the quadrant going down, and then I'm going to simply select somewhere here using nearest, okay. Then I'm going to do a fillet, and then I'm going to make sure that this is all using the same layer and line type. There you go. So that's how to do this grid layout whenever they are together, close to each other. So just we're now going to copy. We're just going to copy from this point to that point, and we're going to fix this one by doing a fillet. Okay, and then we're going to copy this and this one from here to here, and then do the same thing here. And these are my A, B, C, D, right? So there's nothing to copy here now uh, because they're all on elevation. But you can still do that. You can still copy, select all of this, and then select that and put that here. And then one by one, just move them. And then I'm just going to select my O snap. Oh, let me set my O snap and make sure that my quadrant is endpoint and quadrant is on. There you go. Quadrant and endpoint is on. So I'm going to move, select, quadrant, endpoint. Move, select, quadrant, endpoint. Move, select, quadrant, endpoint. Move, select, quadrant, endpoint. Move, select, press enter, quadrant, and endpoint. There you go. Once you've done that, you're going to do the same thing. We're going to copy this whole thing. I'm going to copy that one to this. I'm going to copy this one to this one, and then just erase those that we don't need. Okay. And then all you do is now set up the title. So we're just going to do a copy here and then move that wherever we want to. Okay, and then that. Okay, maybe move that some more further to the left. Okay, and then copy that. And I'm just going to select this to this and maybe to this. All right, then now numbering. I'm going to use this as my 1, 2, and 3. Okay. On my elevation, I had 1 here on the very left, and I could still do that 1, 2, 3. But I think section should, if I did section on the very right, then I should go 1, 2, 3 here. It doesn't matter because you're going to refer to it anyways. This numbering. Again, you have to just follow the tradition of the office. If the office has a tradition of assigning the leftmost as number 1, you just have to follow that. Okay. And then basically this is called site plan. Remember that we always use all capital letters. And this is first floor plan or ground floor plan. Okay, and then we call this second floor plan. All right, and then looks like the name is too short, so we're just going to do a stretch and stretch this and just match it like that. This one too, stretch Just match it like that. This one, same thing. We can stretch and match it like that. Okay. Then we can move this and center that. Okay. Looks like this one is okay and look, that one's okay. So, and then the name of the sheet, uh, because these site plan is typically your A1, then your floor plan, ground floor will be A2, and then this will be A3, but we all squeeze them together here. So this will be our A1 sheet. So double click this and change that to A1. Okay. Now this one is not section center blower. Oh, and I'm gonna change that to site plan, all capital, and this one to floor plans. And you wanted to specify uh, ground floor plan, and you wanted to specify again the other one. I'm using insert, so I line them up equal spacing and change that to second floor plan. All right. If this one has changed, you can click on it, double click on it, and the box will appear. And then you can enter the new date. If today is the 27, 28, whatever. So change that to whatever date you have editing. Um, yeah, and then job number still the same because number still the same everything. And I think you're ready to put in dimensions. Okay. Uh, don't delete this yet. We'll finish everything before we continue. Let's set up the dimensions later when we discuss the dimension styles, and let's just leave everything here. The layout is now going to be called A1. So we're going to right click here and rename and type in A-1. Okay, press enter, and there you have it. This is now our preliminary sheets for site, ground, and second floor. Uh, I've seen companies where they also have their sheets here, for their elevation section sheets here. But we do have two sheets right now. We have base elevation here and preliminary sheets here. Okay, and we can fix that later. But let's just end this video and do another part on how to put in the dimensions for your floor plans. Okay.